The deadline to apply for Texas's controversial new school voucher program was supposed to be about 2 hours from right now. But today, a federal judge ordered the state to extend that deadline. It is because of a lawsuit claiming Islamic schools are being unfairly excluded. And as Adriana De Alba shows us tonight, questions about fairness, access, and funding are far from settled.
We have received over 200,000 applications.
As the deadline for Texas families to apply for school vouchers approached, today a federal judge stepped in, ordering the state to extend the application window for its new program. The deadline now pushed from Tuesday night to March 31st as a legal battle unfolds over who gets access to those funds. This is about much more than extending a deadline.
But this has not come in a vacuum.
At the center is a lawsuit from Islamic schools and families after the state excluded Islamic schools from the voucher program, citing alleged ties to terrorist groups. Governor Greg Abbott recently posting on X saying, "That's right, we don't want school choice funds going to radical Islamic indoctrination with historic connections to terrorism." Aisha Najm, an attorney representing Islamic families in the lawsuit, says that claim is false.
It is discriminating against schools of Islamic faiths and treating them differently.
The lawsuit argues Islamic schools are being singled out.
None of these schools are tied to terrorists, and that false connection is what is impermissible under the Constitution.
The Texas Comptroller's Office, which will distribute the funds, defends the $1 billion program, which critics argue will hurt public schools.
The goal is to give families the power to choose the best possible education for their child.
The agency says so far, more than half the applications received are from students already enrolled in private schools or being homeschooled.
Taxpayer dollars should not be going to private schools.
Texas Comptroller Kelly Hancock confirmed the federal judge's order, saying in a statement this 2-week extension will give families an additional opportunity to apply. But Hancock didn't directly address the exclusion of Islamic schools. In DFW, I'm Adriana De Alba.
New tonight, we have just confirmed Nordstrom at Galleria Dallas is closing. The last day of business will be May 16th. The company says it is working with employees interested in finding jobs at other locations. This closure will leave just 2 remaining Nordstrom stores in DFW at North Park in Dallas and Stonebriar Center in Frisco. The retailer does also have 10 Nordstrom Rack stores. Let's take a live look outside now. So will tomorrow be another cold morning, Pete?
Well, it depends on your definition of cold. It won't be in the 30s, I can tell you that. We're going to have lows tonight that'll be in the 40s. Right now we have just a few clouds, high thin clouds streaming across the area. Nice night. Dallas tonight drops to 49, 48 for the low in Fort Worth. I have some 46s up here in Sherman, Gainesville, also in Denton and in Decatur. 44 in Terrell, same thing in Canton and in Athens, Waxahachie 45 and 45 in Granbury. So much warmer, maybe 10 degrees or so warmer tomorrow morning than this morning, and we won't have the breezy. We'll have a little breeze tomorrow morning, but not nearly the breeze we had this morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, normal high 69. Today we were in the 60s, mid 60s for high temps. Dallas hits 79 tomorrow, almost 80. So 78 in Fort Worth, 75 up in Gainesville, 76 in Decatur. McKinney hits 75, 74 in Denton. Look at this, 72 in Canton. Tyler 73, Athens 72, Mineral Wells 77. Look at this, Archer City and Wichita Falls hit 80, and Haskell and Seymour hit 81. And then I'm talking July-like weather by the time we head into the weekend. And I'm also talking near record high temps or record high temps Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. My 14-day forecast, it has rain in it finally. It's not much. It's going to take a while to get there, but I'll tell you when it will arrive coming up.
All right, see you in a few minutes, Pete. Right now, crews are still working to repair a gas leak in the city of Lake Dallas. That is in Denton County. Atmos says a construction crew not related to Atmos hit a line near City Hall earlier today, prompting that building to be evacuated. Later, a second line was hit near Lake Dallas Middle School. The leak near City Hall is now repaired. Crews expect to have the other one fixed by 3 a.m. It is worth noting the city is doing a road improvement project at the intersection of Hunley and Shady Shores where that leak happened. Tonight, we are learning more about a crash involving an 18-wheeler that caught fire and shut down traffic. It happened along Highway 80 at Windmill Farms on the east side of Forney. Tonight, crews are still working to remove the truck. Eastbound traffic is still being diverted to the access road. Kevin Reese shows us what happened and the connection to a deadly incident at this same location just days ago.
Minutes after the crash, Carlos and Jessica Camacho could still get through on US 80, but couldn't get over what they saw. The cab of the big rig engulfed in flames.
God, I hope he's okay.
And despite the flames and the billowing smoke that could be seen for miles, the driver would be okay. Minor injuries, DPS tells us. He was able to get out in time. But hours later, the eastbound lanes were still closed. Diesel spilled all over the highway and spilled tools and equipment from a construction truck, one of the other vehicles involved. The collision between multiple vehicles appeared to rupture the diesel tanks of the big rig, spreading diesel all over the highway. That's what they're cleaning up right now until the big rig came to rest in the ditch between the eastbound lanes and the frontage road on the south side of US 80. And then a tow truck driver yelled this.
They're in the same place as last week.
And the suspicious part of all this is that it's almost the exact same spot as a fatal collision last week. A big rig and multiple other vehicles also in the eastbound lanes. And a 39-year-old man from Mesquite died when his pickup truck was hit and caught fire. As for Tuesday's accident, everyone survived. But now DPS is investigating two similar crashes to find out what other similarities and causes that they might share. In Forney, I'm Kevin Reese.
A North Texas town is grieving a beloved firefighter, his wife, and their son. All three died in a crash in Cook County Saturday when a driver collided with them head-on in a no-passing zone. Their 8-year-old daughter was the lone survivor. She is now recovering in a hospital. Co-workers say Cooper Bailey served as a City of Paradise firefighter with dedication, always putting others first. They say their firehouse is forever changed.
It's going to be a big change. You know, he was our family, and it's not going to be the same. I mean, we're not going to be able to replace him. He's irreplaceable.
Firefighters are now raising money to support Cooper's daughter and pay her medical bills. Tonight, there is a new plan in place to improve safety in Deep Ellum in Dallas. Just last weekend, cell phone video captured a huge brawl on Elm Street. Situations like this led the Deep Ellum Foundation to launch its Community Safety Plan 2.0. The group says the original plan 4 years ago helped crime go down, but there was an uptick last year. The new plan includes expanding a network of surveillance cameras and adding another shift of officers.
We have them here 4 days a week. We want to see them here every single day of the week.
Now, the group has also proposed that City Council create an entertainment permit requirement for late-night venues. Tonight, we are getting new reaction to disturbing allegations involving Cesar Chavez, the late labor leader and national civil rights icon. Chavez died in 1993 after co-founding the United Farm Workers Union. The union says tonight it became aware of troubling allegations, including claims of abuse of young women or minors, though the union did add it does not have firsthand knowledge of these accusations. States across the country are set to observe Cesar Chavez Day on March 31st. Some cities, including San Antonio, have now canceled those events. The Cesar Chavez Foundation released a statement saying it is deeply shocked and saddened by what it is hearing and is, quote, working to be responsive to these allegations and support the people who may have been harmed by his actions. Chavez spent a lot of time in Texas. This is video of him in North Texas back in 1969. Schools, roads, and other landmarks across DFW do bear his name. We have reached out to some of those local organizations for their response to these allegations. It has now been 2 weeks since we saw a lot of voter confusion during the state primary elections. Now, the Dallas County Republican Party is taking steps to make sure we don't see similar problems during the May runoff. On March 3rd, many voters showed up to the wrong location because the Republican Party opted to hold a separate primary from Democrats. That meant voters could only cast their ballots in specific precincts for the first time in 7 years. Well, today, the party said the May runoff will be different. Dallas County Republican Party Chair Alan West said precinct voting exposes the DCRP to increased risk and voter confusion. He went on to say, quote, those that disagree with this decision are free to seek to replace me as chairman, end quote. Texas Democrats released their own statement saying this was a completely avoidable failure that wasted taxpayer dollars and undermined voter confidence. Here's another thing to keep in mind with the runoff. Today was the deadline for candidates to withdraw and have their name removed from the ballot. President Trump has said he will endorse a candidate in the Republican Senate runoff and that he wants the other candidate to drop out. But that window has now passed. Tonight, Israel claims it has taken out 2 more Iranian leaders. Israel released video they say shows one of their strikes on an Iranian militia group. They say they killed 2 of Iran's most powerful leaders who led the crackdown on anti-government protesters months ago. Iran only let 5 oil tankers through the Strait of Hormuz in the last 3 days. Normally, it is 50 per day. President Donald Trump is blasting NATO allies for refusing to send in reinforcements, but some say it is not their war to fight.
I think NATO's making a very foolish mistake, and I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test, because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
The president is losing his top U.S. counterterrorism official. Joe Kent says he is resigning, that he cannot in good conscience support the war, claiming Iran posed no imminent threat to America. He blames Israel for pressuring the U.S. into the war, which President Trump has denied.